Well, you're welcome back to Morning Express. Let's continue the discussion with Hossana Okoroafor, a media expert here in the studio, and also a Nigerian youth speaking to us about youth being agents of change. Now, Hossana, while we hear that youths are the drivers of conflict in most cases, we saw the situation in Nepal, where there was some sort of revolution, and it was mainly spearheaded by the youth, the younger demographic known as the Gen Z. On one hand, while youths are being considered as drivers of conflict, they are also considered as agents of peace building. Where do we draw the line in ensuring that while there might be some bad eggs, the bad eggs do not overshadow the good ones who continue to drive peace in different societies, narrowing it down to Nigeria as it stands right now?
Okay, thank you very much for narrowing it down to Nigeria as it stands now. Let's not go to Nepal, because if we go to Nepal, there's a lot going on.
I just cited that as an example.
So then, here in Nigeria, it's definitely it's a case of not being able to balance the things that the youth need.
Yeah.
Because it starts small. If we are agents of peace, like you said, and conflict, there are definitely some people who are naturally born conflicted. They love conflict. And when you mention peace to them, it feels like chaos.
Yeah.
They are not balanced. But how do we make the population who are good youths, who are balanced people mentally, to overwhelm? It starts by the littlest things, like exchanging of words online, digital platforms, because digital platforms are places where we see almost all the youths, whether it's the Gen Z like you mentioned, or the older youth. Of course, there are two types of people in there. It starts there, the banters online, the little peace we can make at home, communities. So when these things groom, when they spread, the ex who are not bad starts to look at it from the other side of life. I know people are not easy to change, but then you see this change coming gradually. It's not going to be something that happens.
Now, you mentioned social media, Hossana. If you recall, some couple of months ago, I think earlier this year, the Sultan of Sokoto had made some comments about social media, fueling the unrest in the country, almost even calling it a terrorist organization. And you will agree with me that most people consider Twitter, now X, to be very toxic. The level of bigotry, the level of tribalism, the level of hate speech being spread through or via X is one that can run any nation down. While we advocate for peace building via social media channels, how do we also rid ourselves of such negativity of the likes of X and other social media platforms that fuel such vices?
Okay, when we talk about social media platforms, I believe that there are people who control the spaces.
Yeah.
The Facebook, the Instagram, it's not just AI run. There are still people who run AI. There's some things that AI cannot take from people, like the back end developers, the soft end, the front end, the side, west, all of them are included. So when we see things like this come up online, I believe that the people in charge can streamline the kind of words that you use on their app.
Yeah.
For example, there's TikTok, and I use TikTok frequently. There's some type of words, maybe I'm chatting with my friend, I just want to tell her, or maybe use a curse word, let me not say that so out there. And it restricts you. It tells you, are you sure you want to send this?
TikTok?
Yes, TikTok.
But Twitter doesn't do that.
That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to compare or take an example.
Two social media platforms.
There are things that they need to work on. Streamline these things. By the time you notice that you cannot make some type of comment, you yourself will feel restricted.
Yeah.
You might not be able to type that same thing on every other platform, because you may feel like, what if Facebook also has that restrictions? So it could start with the app itself. You understand? That doesn't mean that we should be bad people out there. You should also watch the things and the kind of things that you want to say online.
The argument has always been that there is a very thin line between regulations and trumping the rights to freedom of free speech of individuals on such social media platforms. At some point, during the last administration, there was a total ban on the usage of Twitter in the country that lasted for quite some time, if you recall. How do we also balance that up?
How long was Twitter being banned? I didn't think it took so long because these are apps, these are owned by people, and it would definitely...
But there was a ban, a nationwide ban. People couldn't access their Twitter because of the level of content that was considered not healthy for the peace and stability of the country at the time.
Now, when you say unhealthy and all of that, these are words.
Yeah.
And I also think that when you say free speech, it doesn't mean you should use curse words. There is a way you can diplomatically express yourself without using a curse word or without using words that can cause ban and threats. Of course, I am a youth and I know when to draw the line. I know when our youth need to calm down and draw the line. Some of us are rooftop all over it. But when you watch some people display comments on social media and you read through their comments, it makes a lot of sense to you. So you can dialogue without being unnecessarily using unnecessary hate or curse words. So I think that's what brings this type of issues when it comes to balancing things.
Now from your experience in activism and advocacy, Hossana, what practical ways do you think Nigerian youth, right, can contribute to peace and unity in their communities? You have mentioned social media, but let's also take it away from the online space to the reality on ground.
Okay. Communities, I think the youths need to go home more.
Home in what way?
Home by visiting their communities.
Okay.
Because when you mean communities, I think you're talking about where you're from.
I'm talking about
Is it just where you're from or generally
your
where
locality.
You stay, your locality,
Yeah.
yes. So you can start from there, whether your community is at home or where you are. Some communities have really high structure culture.
Okay.
That you can't just do some type of things. For example, in my community where I'm from, when a woman is married, you do not have any business with any other man outside because there's something called Ekponkawo that is going to hunt you. And if your husband gets to know that you are doing this thing and he still, he lets it thrive or lets it continue, he's also going to be at risk. So this culture, some of them are structural. Some of them imbibe or inculcate some type of behavior in people. So when you step out to local communities where you are, try to, express these good cultures to people around you.
So are you calling for some sort of supernatural intervention?
No, not supernatural.
Beyond the ordinary.
I'm just using the culture for example. Even down to our homes. Oh my God, no, please. It's not juju. No, it's not juju or it's not juju, but these things happen. They are culture. You will not say you don't know about yours. I know about mine and you know about yours. So away from that, the little home trainings that we have, let's inculcate this peace in our community. Let's also drive structuring the little things that we can do, advocating for our communities, the little things that we can build for our communities. Let's build them. We cannot just always say the government or Nigeria. Who are Nigeria? Okay, what is Nigeria? It is Nigerians.
Nigerians are
that make up Nigeria. You can't say Nigeria is bad. When you say Nigeria is bad, we the people are bad. It is the people that make up the country.
Perspective.
Of course, it is
to look at.
It is.
Now, earlier, while I was speaking with the guest that I had a discussion with before you came in, Mr. Shononi, we were talking about women involvement in Parliament, whether at the federal level or at the state level, and there was a bill pushing for permanent seats, for reserved seats for women in Parliament. In relation to this, how can this help in nation building, in peace building? I understand that while we talk about those special seats for women, there was at some point the not too young to run bill in the last administration that came into play. A lot of these things, if you fuse them into one, how can they help in ensuring peace and stability in a nation that is already volatile with insecurity issues bedeviling different geopolitical regions of the country?
Okay, thank you very much. We know that when we say let's reserve some seats for women, and which brings us to gender equality.
Equality advocacy.
Gender equality is not just about women. Gender equality is also about men.
But in most cases, when we talk about gender equality, it is as to the fact that men occupy more political offices in Nigeria than women do. The representation of women in politics in the country is at an all-time low, and there are facts and figures to back that up.
Of course, yes. So I attended the bill, I think the first running that was earlier in July or something. And when women came out to speak, it was seen that women really needed seats. There's something women carry, something like peace, something like nurture. Women have this ability to nurture. And when we say women should come in more into politics, it's so that our voices are heard. Not because we are thriving to be equal with the mass of men, like you said, that the men occupy most seats. We are saying that these seats should be reserved, that women are the ones to sit on these seats.
Do you see this as a possibility in the current Nigerian dispensation?
I see it as a possibility.
What are the steps that can be taken to address this and, drive this home and make it a reality?
The steps that can be taken to drive this: number one, when women actually come out to talk, to contest, let them be given that chance. Over the years and severally, we've seen the men lead. Right
and have the men been leading?
Exactly, that's the question I want to ask you.
You
are a man.
I'm throwing
you
it
are
to
a man.
Have the men been leading?
Well, how is the society? How is the economic progress going?
You think women will do better?
I think if women are brought into line, it will help the men do better.
Well, that's an interesting line of thoughts, Hossana. Let's still move on. We have about 7 minutes to wrap up the discussion on the program. In your opinion, what are some of the biggest barriers preventing youth from fully stepping into these roles in the society as peace builders and nation builders? You spoke about unemployment earlier. You spoke about social media and the rest. But in reality, what is hindering people like you and I from actively participating and ensuring that Nigeria does not fall apart?
Being trusted and exclusion.
Break that down.
Okay. So there was a time we had the president said he's going to include 30% of the youth into political, all of that. Now, it's not about putting us in these positions. Are we allowed to be decision makers? Our decisions allowed to work? Are we trusted that we can handle these decisions? Because somehow it feels like, yes, we are given these roles as just projections, but we are not really acting. We are not really coming up. There's still this little barrier of exclusion somehow. So when these things are fixed, when these barriers are taken away, you see us move freely into especially political participation.
Well, these are quite important points that you have raised. But when you talk about youth not being given the opportunity, not being trusted, not being allowed to express themselves in the way that they should, it's not news that in electioneering periods, for instance, the demographic of people that are often used for ballot box snatching, election violence, unrest, and the rest and the likes of it are younger people,
educated youths,
young uneducated people. Is that your assertion? And how did you come about this? How did you come about the uneducated perspective?
There is no educated person that is exposed that will not want a free and fair election. I mean, look at the other cities, other countries, other towns, other nations. How are they building? If we say these people colonized us and then they've left us and we are somehow trying to follow up on the blueprints they kept, so we should step up in technology, in everything. So when these things are put in place, or when someone who's educated has seen that these things are put in place, which brings me to actually from the grassroots. Several cities in Nigeria, several places do not have education, but when it's time for the election, you see these ballot boxes get to such places. So why can't education get to such places? Why can't churches? Why can't development, NGOs? Why can't these things happen there. Lights.
Ungoverned places. Or
Well,
places,
are we going to say
or places
ungoverned?
with little to no government presence.
There is government presence, but little to no awareness of what's happening there.
What such places
That
are
is
you
not
talking about?
publicized. I mean, there are so many places. You go to the likes of these deep places in Lagos, you see them. You go to Calabar, Bogobri areas. There's so many areas that are not even uncovered. There was a documentary I was watching of a celebrity, an upcoming celebrity. I don't want to mention names. He went to most of these deep jungles, and I don't know how to put the words. I'm trying not to lose my emotions, but people are really living critical. Like, the standard is low. These people literally live underwater inside canoes. So they build little things, and when they pass out waste, the water takes it away. Are these people living good? So you think if you go to such society and tell them, oh, you need to do this, I will do this for you, this needs to be done if you take the ballot, you think they will not do it. Some of them are not exposed to the basic things that they need. They're not exposed to social media. They're not exposed to places where they can learn.
Tell us a little bit more about PNGI. That's the Progressive Next Generation Initiative. What do you do there exactly?
Okay, I am an assistant secretary there.
What does the organization
So the
do?
organization is all about the new upcoming youths, how to help them in being able to have data statistics about things that are happening in the government system, so that some people who are not aware can be aware. Because some sorry, can I
carry on, please.
So because some people are not even aware of the little things that the government is doing for us. So this initiative is bringing up the next generation of leaders, because when we say youths are the leaders of tomorrow, the tomorrow is today. So we need to start, bringing up these people, showing them, making them publicized, knowing how to, educate them on these policies, on these grants, or whatever is the thing that are going on for the youth, so they don't miss out. The Federal Ministry of Youth is doing a lot with different other monitoring protocol. People are, there's skills on CNGI. There's some people do not have awareness to this. So that's basically what we do.
Are there specific programs that you're running for youths in perhaps underserved communities, in places like you mentioned in Lagos, in Calabar, or even in the northern part of the country, or even here within the Federal Capital Territory? Do you have such programs that you're running in order to, bring some sort of support and succor to the younger generation and ensure that they do not fall out of line with the realities, and ensuring that they become good citizens in the country and agents of peace as well?
Okay, so in CEPAS, that's Center for Peace, Advocacy and Sustainable Development, we have something called Mentor Her program that is for the ladies. I am a woman.
Mentor Her.
Mentor Her. So we come together, bring together women who are empowered, women who can speak to people, and groom these young ladies and teach them, tutor them on things that need to know. Trust me, when a lady learns, she's ready to spread it. So I also feel like these things are going to spread. It's not just going to be here in Abuja. So if I have the opportunity to put together women wherever I find myself, I always do that. I always educate. I always pass the little knowledge. Knowledge is not something that you know, but the way you can pass it to people, and these people enforce it and try to live good lives, is when you think you've won. So these are the things I can do for now, and these are the things that I also look that in the future I can help these slum areas. Because when I am watching the media, I'm not watching the media just to look at people who are doing this and that. I want to know history. I want to know these areas that people are not, surviving, trying to survive. These things, how can we bridge these gaps? How can we, bring these people to light? How can we do things together? So that's basically how we are moving towards helping these people come together to light.
Oh, fantastic, Hossana. If you were to advise policymakers and stakeholders in the Nigerian political space, what are the three top policies that you would advise for them to adopt in order to harness youth potential for nation building and for peace building?
Okay, number one, I would ask these policymakers to equip the youths. And when I mean equip, not just certificates.
Yeah.
we're talking about equip them for the future of work. So there's this, the future of work is statistically saying that some jobs are going to be declining by 2030. So what are these equipments? When we say policymakers, some of them are like fathers to us. They're literally, not even some, they are literally the fathers we see. When we pick someone as a leader, you are leading the rest of the people. So when you lead people, what's leadership? What is leadership?
I mean, lawmakers, even in the states houses of assembly, or at the National Assembly, talking about the House of Representatives, there seems to be a younger demographic of people who are spearheading activities there. Members of houses of assembly, representatives at the House of Reps, we have young people in there as well.
Of course, we have young people there as well, but there's still this hierarchy of the senior people that you meet there. It's normal. It's not something that you don't go overhead. You still kind of follow these people, watch on their steps. You would always actually talk about this is what we need, this is what, but the way they carry you through, the way they lead you is the thing that you're going to say. So we're not done with your first question, which is equipping these youths with what they need. Bringing inclusivity, second step. Inclusivity, let them know that their voices are heard, that they are decision makers, that they can thrive. You know, when you put a child in a position of, okay, I'm putting you here, or when a child has come of the age to say, okay, I want to take this, I want to assume this position, you let and watch the child assume the position. You try to trust the decisions. Okay, this decision right? Okay, let's bring this together. Okay, how can we do it? These are the things that we, basically really need to bridge these barriers and help the youths be peace. We are not going to be told that take peace, or choose peace. We are going to feel that there is peace. We need peace. So that's just it.
While we are talking about peace building and nation building as well, and also narrowing it down to the youth in the country, you will agree with me that a lot of individuals who carry out bandit attacks, who carry out terrorist attacks in parts of the country are usually young people. We recently saw a peace deal that was supposed to be brokered in Sokoto State, in Zamfara State, I beg your pardon, and a lot of the people who had come out from the bushes with arms and ammunition were young people, young boys, looking almost lost, as if they were just finding their footing in life, and guns were handed over to them. We have seen Boko Haram recruiting a lot of young people whose families were probably slain during the onslaught of the Boko Haram insurgency into their group. How do we address this? When on one hand, while we are asking youth like you and I in the society to promote peace, there are some youth in the bushes, in the forest, who are serving as terrorists, who are serving as bandits, non-state actors, picking up arms, kidnapping people, requesting for ransoms from state governments. It's just a total mess. What do you say to that?
I mean, that's what they know. Because if these children or youths were taken from their parents who were slain, who were killed, it's easy to convince them that, oh, of course, you see how they were killed, you have to kill too. So it still narrows down to access of right information. If these people have the right information, I'm sure that most of these things will not be happening.
But when you say right information, are we talking about right information or maybe rehabilitation? Because we have seen educated, or at least young people in secondary schools, especially in Borno State, where the Boko Haram insurgency started, and some of these young boys were abducted from schools. I'm not talking about the girls now. I'm talking about boys who were probably abducted alongside the girls, and they were forcefully recruited, forcefully made to join the insurgency, pick up arms, and in most cases sacrifice their lives for the cause of the terrorist organization. Would you still say that those boys are not informed academically the way that you are arguing about right now?
I'm not really arguing, but I'm trying to tell you that you already answered this question because you said they were forcefully. which already answers the question. When someone is under duress or when someone is forced into a place or house arrested, there's literally nothing you can do. The only thing you can actually do is either do what they say you should do or try to save your life.
Yeah.
So most of these children also escape, the educated ones, like you said. Most of them, when they are being caught and put and they have a little space to escape, most of them do escape. And the ones who cannot or who are weak, they just stay there and do what they're told to do, because of course these things are coerced. They are forced upon them. It's not their will. So I think that answers the question. It's not their will. So when these children are forced into doing these things, they have no other opportunities. They have no other choices than to choose what is being handed over to them.
But how about rehabilitation? What modes of rehabilitation do you think can be adopted to rid some of these younger people who have gone through very difficult times and who have probably experienced violence in such a way that it has altered their mental state and level of thinking? What can be done to bring them back into a sane and civilized society to help the country live in peace?
Proper care, proper information, and giving them the giving them the feeling to grow again, nurturing them all over again, giving them therapy, things that could be of therapeutic value to them. That is just the way this thing can happen.
Yeah.
Because even down to people who are mentally, who have mental sickness like psychosis and the rest of them. You know, when people say mental sickness, you just think, oh, this person is mad. There are different levels to these things. So like you said, these things that have tampered with their mental, state needs mental evaluation, mental care, need therapy. So these things are going to be able to nurture someone, just like someone who's sick. When the right care is given to the person, the right medication, the right amount of sleep and all of that, and rest, and people around show you love, you would definitely start tilting back towards the love that you've always known.
All right, in conclusion now, Hossana, let's just get your message to the younger Nigerians watching us right now. This is your camera. In a moment, just give them a message about their role in shaping the Nigeria that we all want to see, in shaping the country of our dreams, in nation building and in peace building. Keyword.
Okay, so to the youths out there, we are no longer the leaders of tomorrow. We are the leaders of today. What we start, what we build organically is what's going to spread to the younger generation after us. We are going to be where our fathers are today. So how are we building that? How are we structuring our minds? How are we helping the people around us to see that we are people of peace? We are people of dialogue. When there's peace, there's really no need for large and grand conferences. People all around can feel the peace. People all around can know that we are accommodated, we are seen here, because there's something about being seen. So let's inculcate peace as much as we can individually. When you are at peace with yourself, you can spread peace. I mean, the Bible said, love your neighbor as yourself. So if as yourself you love yourself, you have peace within, it's definitely going to spread and expand to your neighbors out there.
Well, I couldn't have said it any better, but we must thank you so much. It's been wonderful having this discussion, and we wish that the country continues to live in peace.
God bless Nigeria.
God bless Nigeria indeed.